All right, everybody, welcome back to this episode, or welcome back from the preview. We just wanted to talk about this episode 8 of the Canary Teeth, that we still do not know why the flop in the Canary Teeth. But that's the saying, maybe, who knows? Let us know in the comments below. But, we continue back from Legoshi and the crew finishing up at the park, getting ready for the festival, the media festival. He is in his feelings. He's hurt because what he saw, that reaction that they had. Even so much where they actually thought that it was something that happened with uh, Juno and him. People already, asking about Juno or maybe he did something wrong with her. But nobody really truly understands what's going on, except one person.
Yeah, Rui seems to have a full understanding. Maybe he doesn't understand the nature of his relationship with um, Haru, but he definitely seems to have the most information since he's not confiding with any of his friends. He could probably talk to the dog guy. I mean, he already pretty much knows what the deal is, but he hasn't, at least they haven't shown it. But he looks so sad. He looks like a puppy, like a sad puppy.
That puppy that lost his little hump toy. Um,
Oh gosh.
but so we catch him. He's really sad. He's so sad that he's all intent of trying to communicate and talk with her. It's like he's trying to find himself of how to confront her about the situation in a way, or he want to kind of say like, hey, what he's trying to insert himself and assert himself in a way
Yeah,
where he can get his answers.
he definitely is now forced to act. I think because of what he saw, he realizes he needs to, sort of shit or get off the pot, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is an aspect of Japanese culture that is less common in America. This sort of tradition of sort of confessing your feelings directly to your partner in a very literal sense, which is I think what he's trying to do is, tell her specifically how he feels. Not that Americans don't ever do that, but it's not quite a literal experience as it seems to be, at least as it's presented in Japanese media. And so that's what he seems to be trying to do. And it's interesting that she's not really phased by him being so intense. I guess because she sort of doesn't get him either way. She's just kind of going with the flow. So I kind of I respect that, I guess. He's being
Yeah,
extremely creepy and overbearing, but it just rolls right off her back. She's like, yeah, it's just Legoshi. That's just who he is. He's a very intense guy.
yeah. So he's able to find her. He creepily, in a nice way, asked her to escort her home because it's already getting late. Even the mayor of the town came up and told her that she needs to go home. They wanted to be safe for all citizens, and they
Yeah,
know at nighttime it gets a little crazy.
but it's interesting because I believe the mayor is a lion, which means he's a carnivore.
Hmm.
So that surprised me because it seemed to be I would have expected a herbivore to be the person to have that level of political power in this world. At least how it's portrayed. So
Hmm.
it's interesting to me that a carnivore has that kind of power, but also the lives of carnivores have not improved enough, at least as much as I would expect it to be. But
Yeah.
did you think he was a lion, or did I misinterpret? Maybe he's
No,
some
no,
other
no. You're
kind of
right. He
animal.
definitely is a lion.
Okay.
So I mean, it's probably some reasons, or I wonder why that happened, or what has he done
I
to
I mean, he's
to
only
that.
a mayor. Maybe he's bound by the larger rules of the society that are above him. I don't know, but I would have expected there to be more herbivores in positions of power. I wonder what the ratios are. Is it 50-50, or are there more herbivores to carnivores? It definitely seems to at the school be more herbivores.
It seemed like in this world it would make sense for it to be more herbivores than carnivores, just because of the fact of the oppression that the carnivores are feeling. So, because if it was a lot more, then they would probably be in more control and maybe you know eating or subjugating the herbivores into a lifestyle that they wouldn't like. So maybe there's a minority.
I mean, I don't know if it's fair to call them oppressed because there's definitely, I mean, I'm kind of walking back from my own arguments that I've made
I
in previous episodes,
understand it
but
because of you.
I know, but I've been thinking about this more because now time has passed, and while I still
Mm-hmm.
feel very strongly that the way the carnivores are treated isn't right, I
Yeah.
also am recognizing now that maybe this episode kind of pointed it out too, that herbivores are just generally living in fear of these people they live beside, that they will
Mm-hmm.
just kill them at any moment. So you have these, I guess the only thing I can think about is like if you lived in a culture where half the population had guns and then you just weren't allowed to have them, so that you knew like at any time they could, if they wanted to, shoot you. They may or may not, but they have this ability that you don't have to just kill you in an instant. And
Mm-hmm.
that can be very, I mean, that creates obvious tension. Then I think that's what led to the oppression that, for lack of a better word, the carnivores are dealing with. So I get it from both sides. Maybe it wasn't a good idea for them to live together in the first place. I don't know what the solution is, but
Who knows how to even start? Um, so them trying to live in harmony, you know, especially after the mayor tells them to leave. Legoshi and Haru, they decide to go get on the train together. As they miss the train. He starts to kind of open up to her a little bit and start asking her questions, and she just don't really feel like hearing him right at this point in time. She doesn't really like his tone.
well, it's interesting because he tells her. Well, basically, she says something along the lines of, "Are we going to talk about what happened, where I basically tried to bang you and you rejected me?" And he's like, "I just really haven't been able to process that experience," which is a very real, a fair thing to say. But he also responds with something along the lines of, "I don't think you should have more self-respect," or something. And I was really bracing myself to see what her reaction to that was going to be, because I suspected that she was going to be offended by that implications of that statement. And I won't say that she's offended necessarily, but she does pretty much go like, just you don't understand me. You don't really understand
Right,
why I do what I do. And it seems to be revealed that part of the reason why she is so sexual and is so willing to sort of engage with multiple partners. Pretty much anyone who's willing, she's willing. You know, she's DTF all the time. Uh, is because it just makes her feel more alive, I guess. She's like, life is my life can end at any moment, and I'm always afraid of that. And I just want
the
to
more
have
control.
these experiences before I die. But she specifically mentions love, which is very different than sex. So
Right.
now I'm seeing her differently. I'm seeing her as someone who is less very free with her sexuality and more someone who's very young and doesn't understand that there is a very big difference between like lust and physical relationships and an actual true loving romantic relationship. And she's sort of conflating them together, and in an attempt to try to create a real true love bond, she's having sex, which is not going to get her what she wants out of life. So I pity her a little bit now, versus before I kind of saw her as, kind of more empowered ish. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So, I think, a little bit of it, she kind of feels that he kind of looking down away, or not looking down, but he kind of look out for her, and she doesn't really want his pity. So she does kind of get upset a little bit, or she gets upset at him, and she want to walk off on him. He still want to talk about everything that's going on.
I,
She doesn't want to.
yeah, I think you're right. I think he is looking down on her a little bit. Maybe that's not what he's thinking in his head, but I think that's probably what happened. I think that's how she feels. I think you're spot on about that.
So, in doing so, she tried to leave. He grabs her arm. She kind of, they kind of have an argument. It's two people, especially when somebody grabbing someone else, they don't want to be grabbed.
Yeah,
Um,
that scene to me was a great, great scene. That's one of the best scenes of the whole show for me. Was that scene when he grabs her and she's like, let me go, let me go. Because of both their past, where he had attacked her. She may not remember it, but he did attack her and try to kill her. Like that was the goal. He
right,
he reined in that instinct, but that had happened. So she had this
right,
traumatic experience in which she almost died. And he is so much stronger than her physically. His existence is, everything about him is built to be dangerous for someone like her. So when he's grabbing her and she's saying, "Let me go," this is an opportunity now where what is this relationship going to be? Because I don't she has no other way to exert her power except verbally. So if he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
listen, then there's nothing she can do. He can easily overpower her. So even though his intentions are just I just want to talk and I don't want to give up. If they were more equally balanced, that wouldn't be such a intense situation. But because they're unequally balanced, it is, and everyone around them reacts to it as if now she's being assaulted, or she might be assaulted. People are interfering. He almost gets arrested. They run away together, but it's also her idea. She's like immediately her switch flips from her being mad at him to her wanting to protect him from getting in
Right.
trouble because she
And
knows he's basically a good person. At least she thinks he is.
yeah, and that is one thing to notice too, especially um, thank God she's not like a terrible type of person character because any other type of character, if she's all fed up with you or something, or she doesn't care for him, she would have just agreed with the people or not even try to clear it up. And
Yeah,
thank God she's not like that.
that's another good point. I didn't even think about that. In that situation, now she does have power. She has support from others who will presumably immediately take her side. So she could have gone, yeah, he attacked me, and just walked away and let him deal with the angry mob. But she doesn't do that. She runs away. She does mention later that they would both get arrested. I don't know why she would be arrested. Maybe because she's helping him. I don't know. But, you know,
Yeah, so they get away. They get away. They kind of make up a little bit, just a little bit. She just still don't understand. She's just very confused by him. Because even I was confused because there was a bathroom scene where it was in the bathroom and she even noticed that he wasn't trying to touch her, even though they was hiding or something like that. So he had his hands away from her and not on her. I don't know. Like, did she mean that in a non-pervy way, or did he mean that in a protecting, holding her way? Like he doesn't have his hands on her. So I don't.
I
That was something.
mean, I think he probably wasn't touching her because he knows about his own tenuous hold on self control, both because of his sexual attraction to her and his um what would you word would you use hunger attraction to her.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Hungry attraction.
so because of both of those things, he's very careful about how he deals with her, and she notes that. But I wonder how she was interpreting his refusal to touch her. I'm thinking that she probably thinks that he doesn't want to touch her for some reason, that he's just not attracted to her.
Mm.
Um, which probably makes
Oh,
sense because he's a wolf and she's a bunny, and you would probably expect in that environment that most wolves would not be sexually attracted to bunnies. So, yeah.
I don't. So yeah, she she's okay. She admits to him that she's been in a situation where she almost died at the school. She's his own carnivore almost ate her. He scratched her arm, but she didn't get a chance to see what he looked like. And he realized that like, oh shit, like that, like she does know about that, but she doesn't know that it's him. And he doesn't want to tell her right away because he knows if he tell her, then he doesn't know what could have happened. That she may not want him anymore because that's just like if you had a friend out there, and this is totally different in a different environment. So stop me if I'm wrong, but I think this is like if somebody almost tried to sexual assault somebody and they didn't, and they knew that that person almost did. I don't know. There's a lot of allegories when it comes down to that attack.
Well,
So I'm not gonna make it so white.
do you think that he should have told her, or do you think he's doing the right thing by not telling her?
It seemed like he gonna tell her eventually, but I felt like he feels like he wanna keep that time that him and her have. He wanna appreciate and hold that love that she has for him right now before if he does tell her and she'll just like get scared and not want to ever talk to him again because of what he did.
I think that he has to tell her what that it was
Right.
him. He has
Yeah.
a moral responsibility to tell her, and if he does care about her, that is really the only thing that he can do is to tell her the truth if he truly cares about her as much as he thinks he does. And she may decide to not want to speak to him again, but he would have to respect that choice. But he has to give her the opportunity to make that choice for herself. Right now, he's taking that choice away from her. I get why he's nervous because he's like, we finally made progress. And if I tell her, we probably will lose all of that. I get that. She's pretty understanding. I actually think she probably would be upset and then get over it. But I suspect he won't get the chance to tell her. I think she's going to find out some way. And he's not going to get a chance to tell her himself.
Well, there we go with that. And so that kind of ends that little first act with those guys, and then we start a little bit later with the everybody, all the actors getting ready for their meteor shower. You see Legoshi kind of walks up on Ruiz after Bill cuts him on accident on his hand, and Ruiz is just like, get the fuck away from me, like get off of me, like why are you so close to me? And he like, and he already picks up that Legoshi knows something, and he's like, look, man, you got something to say it now. I am not afraid to talk and put you in your place about it.
I don't even. What is the tension between him and where is that even coming from?
That's coming from him, remember him patting on her, and he putting one or two together that she probably slept with him.
No, I get why Legoshi would be uncomfortable around him,
Uh,
but it's people are everyone's like this is other people are noticing. There's a lot of tension here, and they were never really friends before,
right,
so maybe
but I
Ruiz does care a little bit about her, and he doesn't like the fact that the wolf is sleeping with her. I don't know what from his side where the tension is coming from because to me his opinions about him should be exactly the same as they were before.
yeah, it's something coming. Something is. I think that affection he mentioned in the last episode or something like that, where the affection that he had, he couldn't give it to her, and maybe that she's longing for. He knows she's longing for some type of affection with him, but then she see Legoshi's giving out that type of affection, and that may threaten his spot.
Has he
And
seen
she,
enough of their dynamic to even have that drawn that conclusion?
no, but he can get. I think he's picking up from the way he caring about her. Just wanted to check in. He knows what type of guy he is. He's trying to be this caring type person. You know.
I mean, it's possible that he's just respond like you're being annoying, and so I'm responding to you being annoying. It could just be that Legoshi's now. Before Legoshi was kind of a little afraid of Ruiz, I think. Now Legoshi is
Or
jealous of him and resentful. So maybe he's just responding to that energy that he's getting from Legoshi.
yeah. So after that little exchange, we see our little wolf girl Juno. She comes in and like, "Hello, everyone. Let's do our best." She's pretty much saying the same thing, and she's doing a happy version of what Luis is doing. He has to encourage everybody to do their best, but he's doing it in a more aggressive leader type way. But she's coming in and doing it with a more charismatic way, getting everybody to want to like just seeing how much she cares, how nice of a good person she is. She helped the sloth girl go from the bathroom to another place, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, Juno. Okay, so just a little bit of information if you guys are not aware. Juno's name is the same name as the Roman goddess Juno, who is the goddess of marriage and childbirth. She's also in Greek mythology known as Hera, so she's the queen of the gods, quote unquote. So I don't know if that they gave her that name with any sort of purpose behind it or if they just picked a name because they thought it would be cool. But I know enough about Juno in mythology that she's a very vengeful goddess. Her husband cheats on her a lot, so she's really big on getting back on the women who um, sleep with her man.
mm,
So I'm a little worried for Haru because I feel like
mm,
Juno might come for her if she's anything like the goddess she's named after. I find Juno interesting because this is the first episode where I really looked at you kind of and thought, oh, Juno is a very calculating person. Juno is who she really is and who she presents are two different people. I think that she is someone who's very self aware and very smart and knows how to act to make herself more likable, which is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Rare
Manipulating.
trait on someone so
Okay.
young to
Mm.
have that level of self-awareness, I think, as a teenager. And it's valuable, certainly, but it's also very a little sociopathic.
Yeah.
um, so but I may be wrong. I may be misreading her, but I think that I don't even know if the story about the sloth is true. Like, that's how much I think Juno is just really, she's like, oh, I'm just this cute, likable girl. Like, I'm just so
Yeah.
sweet. So,
I don't think she would lie about something like that. I think she would go out of her way to make that a image. I don't. I think she saw the sloth and that needed help, and she went out of her way to do it so she would have a good story to tell.
I don't know if I don't want to say that she's uh, this malicious person where she wouldn't help someone who needed it, but if she's genuinely being actually nice and acting nice, then she's just genuinely a nice person. But if she's just performing this performance of a person, that's what I think she might be. And I've met people like that. I mean, I think we've all known people who are showing the world what they need to show them to get what they want out of life rather than just being themselves.
Yeah. So a little bit later, she had to stay. She stayed back to clean up the studio, and Louise he wants to go talk with her, because I guess he's interested in the way she was conducting herself with the other classmates. And then she asked him to help teach her some dance moves. Like that's her thing. She asked everybody to help teach her some dance moves and try to get them alone. Uh,
Maurice is I really like his character. He's very smart. He immediately goes, "Uh oh, she's a threat." So that's why he's like, "I need to get to know this girl because clearly she's not just it's not just a coincidence that she's in this club hanging out with me and everybody else."
and his intuition was right. She she puts him down on the floor and kind of holds him down. Very just to let him know, like, hey, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to beat you. You know, even though he said like, well, you're gonna kiss me, right? And she's like, no, like I will fucking eat your face. Oh, then kiss me.
She doesn't. She's not. She's very. I don't. I feel like you're making it sound more threatening. Her tone was not threatening. The act was threatening, but she's very like, no, I'm not into you. I'm into Legoshi. I'm doing this to prove a point. And it's like he struggles at first, and then all of a sudden he just gives up. It's very There's a lot of tension. I was like, oh, okay. Now we got a new person who he's got sexual tension with. All right. I
Yeah,
kind
we
of,
should call
I almost
call
wanted them
this
to kiss. I was
episode
like,
this.
yeah, let's do it.
Like, hey, you know what? Hey, let me see what this carnivore herbivore sex act is.
Yeah, at
Here's
least they're comparable sizes. She is so much smaller
Haru.
than Haru is so much smaller than Legoshi that it makes me uncomfortable the idea of them being together. She's crotch height to him. She's so small.
And that's all you need, right? Am I right, fellas? Am I? No.
No.
Oh. um. So yeah. So after that, Louise is like, look, if you want my status, you can try to go and take it. I'm in your way for that. If you want the people, yeah, you already got that way. But if you want the man, because you want these three things to make you whole, you feel like having those things will give you accomplishment. The man that you're aiming for, you need to go study him, and you can find out about that.
Yeah, he's totally just his supreme confidence all the time. I know that we already know that a lot of that is an act, but I just respect how he plays the game because he just, even when she pins him, he's like, oh no, what's gonna happen? His mind, he's probably freaking out, but he's just totally like, all right, this is what happened. A girl pinned me down. She's stronger than me. I'm just gonna have to accept this. When she tells him I'm gonna get Beastars, which is obviously what he wants, and that's been his goal, he doesn't act like she's a threat, even though she is. He goes, "Go ahead and try. You can try if you want to. I
Well,
already
because
know what I'm capable of. I already know what I can do. I'm not worried about you." And he's like, and also your boy, He's not who you think he is.
Cause, well, he knows for her to be successful, she needs to have all three. She needs to have the perfect man, the status, and the charisma and everything. But she can't. He knows he won't be able to attain that because she's aiming for Legoshi, and he already knows that Legoshi ain't feeling her at all. He's feeling someone else. So
Legoshi
that
doesn't even see her. She doesn't even exist to him. It's kind of sad, and especially because they mention over and over she's very very pretty. She's very attractive. It's like of course people are gonna like you. You're pretty. You know, like he kind of basically points that out multiple times. It's kind
yeah.
of like because everyone's an animal. You don't really know who's supposed to be pretty or ugly. You just kind of have to wait for them to tell you.
I mean, you kind of know. Yeah.
I mean, she just I don't know which everyone is has an animal face. So to me, how am I supposed to know which characters are meant to be attractive?
You know what? True that. I'm just gonna move on from that then. So I don't know. Yeah, they're telling you they're doing their fact to say that she is supposed to be a pretty person. So I guess we got to just take the story word for it that she is pretty.
Yeah.
So um, so we at the next day at the meteor shower. You know, they getting ready again. The lights goes off. You actually notice that all the carnivores that came together with their classmates form a circle around their classmate, their herbivores, to make sure they don't get taken or eaten or attacked or something like that. So that was very notice. That was something to notice. I was like, oh, that's pretty nice for them
No,
to do.
I don't think that's what I think you misunderstood that scene. I think what that was them the people that have night vision because they are nocturnal animals are helping out the diurnal. Is it diurnal the opposite of I think it's diurnal. Maybe that's
What?
no. Di means
Nocturnal?
both. Di is both.
Oh,
Whatever the
dying,
opposite of
dying.
nocturnal is. Uh,
Okay. But
the people that's I think that's what so wolves can see at night so or have better night vision than other animals. So all the animals that have night vision are helping out the rest of the animals in general. But Haru is a bunny and I'm pretty sure bunnies are they're not nocturnal but they're those in between where they go out right when the sun sets, I think. So she
you know,
should be fine. Maybe
yeah, I
I'm
think you
worried
missed
about
it.
stuff that I should just suspend my disbelief, but
But I think I don't know. They say it in they say it when it happens. I'm going back and it says, like, hey, make sure we protect our other student classmates.
yes, yeah. It was very
So
nice
it's
that everyone immediately. It is a little weird how afraid everyone is because it's just night. It's just the lights are off.
I don't know. Living in that world though, people have been murdered out of nowhere.
But
So
if the lights are off, people get murdered in this world that we live in right now today. And if the lights
not
go
like
out, I'm not
fucking.
immediately like, oh no, it's
All right.
dark. I'll be all right.
I'm just saying, it's a reason why they. It was if that was the case too, you had the carnivores in the outer circle, and then you had the herbivores in the inner circle. If this really was like they were all trying to stay stay alert, they could all just be in one big circle. Just one big circle, watching each other back. So,
I
but
guess though they are the ones that can see are trying to lead the others to make sure they're safe. Like, hey, I
how
can
you
see,
keep
so
them
I
in the
can
circle?
make sure you're okay. That's why they're all clumped up together. They're holding hands.
Okay, so he realized that they're missing a student, and there's Haru, of course, hustily, but it's not nowhere near to be found. So you got to sniff her out. He finds her shivering behind a tree, and he walks out to her, and she runs out like, "Please!" Grabs him,
She's literally hugging his thigh because again, she's crotch height.
and she thought that he was Louise. But you think he'll be upset about him getting called Louise, but he really wasn't. He was just more
Oh,
excited that.
did he call her by did he she call him by the wrong name? I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh yeah, she called him Louise. She said, "Oh,
Oh my gosh, seriously?
yeah."
I missed that. That's crazy. Wait, what did his face look like? I didn't even
Well, his face was like,
did
oh
they show
man.
his reaction?
Yeah, he didn't really have he had a reaction like, oh my,
Oh,
like he
he
just didn't have a
was
reaction.
he was just kind of standing there, and I just thought, he was surprised that she was hugging him. That's how I took that. Oh, she's touching me. I didn't even
Uh,
think that she called him by the wrong name. Oh man, that's wild.
but he did, he didn't get upset or nothing. He really was just happy that she was okay.
I'm sure he's upset. If that's the case, he's for sure upset.
I think, look, this man can't hide his emotions that well. He's already angry. He gets angry. He gets all these other emotions. So when he told her that he just happy that she's okay, I think that's all that he really cared. He didn't care that she called him a different name.
I mean, of course he might be willing to put it aside, but I mean, why? Who wouldn't care? You would care if your girl you love called you by another guy's name.
Oh well, he's a cuck, so. Um, but you know what? It's okay. You know, but who do care and who do see is everything is Juno, and you can see Juno is losing her fucking mind. You know, just saying like, "Oh my god, this is ridiculous."
You know,
So
she's like, I can't believe my competition is a bunny of all things. She's like, we're the same species. Who is
a
this
whole bunch,
bunny? Who the heck? She don't. If she's new to school, she probably don't even know her reputation yet. She just knows it's a
you know,
random bunny that she got to deal
she
with.
will, she will
This
now.
this crotch height bunny. She gonna know
And
everything about her probably by next episode. Yeah, you're right. I,
and that is the episode. What'd you say?
no, I guess we'll find out if Juno really is as sweet as she professes to be. Because if she's not, she's gonna mess Haru up. It's a
Uh,
done deal for Haru.
well, there we go. So, and that is the end of episode 8. We're gonna wrap it up. So remember, like always, put comments in the comment section. Send me emails, or I mean, find me on Instagram or Twitter, Chicago John, and Instagram Chicago John as well. And if you want to email Moxie, you can just just message me on those, and I'll make sure she gets any weird, crazy messages that I want to say.
That's Chicago John, Jon. Chicago
Yeah,
John.
that was,
Chicago is spelled like the city, not John. John. What am I doing? I can't even spell. It's
there we go. But anyway, that's the episode. We'll see you guys on the next one, and take care.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.